Hello and welcome back to Bear Trader. Today I will review the MSFT stock and a couple stock that were requested through X, Twitter, and TikTok. All right, so first let's talk about Apple. Okay, so Apple, I did review when it's doing earning about 3 weeks back. And you can see since that day, it pretty much went sideways and maybe up like $3, I think. Okay. So now what do we see in Apple? Okay. Well, my 252 is still intact, but 259, or maybe I should actually let it come down a little bit. 258 is what I'm looking at right now. But let's check again. Okay. Okay. So in August until now, about 3 months, you can see it's still moving inside this channel. It tried to break out, fail, come up again, try, and then coming back. But you notice that at this level right here, about 270, it's kind of stuck, right? Or since it did the earning. So it looked like we might have a short-term support right here. So this is basically it current short-term support, as well as the trend line support. So, but because it's overbought, I still believe it will come back and test at least 262 and all the way to 258, at least 60%. I would say 65, but because it's at a support, so it takes 5 away. So give it 60% of pullback, 40% of a bounce to 280. Why 280? It's just because of this resistance trend line right here. The 280 only 40%. Most likely will come down and then bounce back. And then maybe it will come down even more. And the next level would be 252 to close this gap right here. Okay, this is most likely the path for when it pull back. When I look at a lot of stock for the past month or two, they've been pulling back a lot, like a lot of stock that I look at. However, look like Apple is still doing well with its new iPhone, but it looks like it's struggling to push higher. But you never know, right? But based on the chart and the level, I'm thinking is will pull back to 258 in about a couple weeks or so, and then bounce a little bit, and then maybe it's gonna come down. So that is for Apple. Right, Amazon. Last I would expect it on earning, it will come back to the orange line at about 220. Okay, on the earning, or right, I should say right after the earning, came to 222, and then boom, it gap up after that. Right when it, because after hours, so the next day of the earning, it jumped. So in a way, it actually hit two of my target, but now you can see it's starting to pull back. This is similar to Oracle. You can see it jumped a lot and then pulling back. Most likely you will hit 231, but more of about 227 and then 224, completing the move. Or even it can go all the way down to maybe 214, and hit this trend line support here. Okay, but of course during this move, it will come up a little bit, maybe like this, and then pull back. Okay, like this, then bounce, and then pull back more to 218, actually not 214, so maybe 218. Okay, we can discuss about Oracle as well, but not in this video. Another one is if we take the trend line, right? Oh, maybe it might do this. And then okay, something like this, or it might not even coming up like that. It skip, it come down, and then bounce, and then down more. Okay, so similar, something similar to this. Okay. Let me see anything else that I see. Okay. So you can see it stopped right here at the support here, but most likely it will hit 231 and then 224 next. Okay, so short term is still overbought, long term is still overbought. For Google, on earning, I say most likely we might have a pullback, but there's a chance the number coming really good. It will pop up to around 300 after that. So it came up pretty close, 292, and then pull back and then come up again. But look like it pulling back into the trend line. Now, so the trend line is still there, but if we look at the short term, okay, let's look like it's closed this gap a couple of weeks back. Next will be 260. I'm thinking it might come down to 260 and it will back, then maybe come down probably here at 245. Okay. Okay, that's, I'm just thinking that what it's going to do. Just a pullback, and then maybe it will head higher after that. But my prediction for Google, Amazon, and Apple short term will be lower. What about Meta? Meta, I bought some over here last Friday. It gapped up. I didn't sell it, and it gapped back down. So right now I'm pretty much even when you compare to last Friday. All right, so remember, it's still down 20% since about 3 weeks back. So you can see it's oversold pretty much when you compare to Amazon, Apple, and Google. Meta actually doing worse. And so this is the trend, right? So I say most likely when it go down like this, it can go as low as 251, 592, or as low as 588, and then we bounce. But most likely we will have a bounce back to 660 to test. So we will see. Okay, but 660 is what I'm thinking it will try to come back for, or at least 640 or 644. Okay, that was a reason why I didn't sell, but it can come down even more before making the pullback. Okay, so 59, yeah, 5921. Okay, so this will be the move for Meta next. Microsoft. Well, Microsoft, you can see for the past almost 3 months now, it's been going sideways. What it did is moving up, tried to break out, tested for the last 555 high, fell, flew all the way back, broke even below the green line, and then came back to test the green line. So it's basically at the green line right now, and basically it hit my 508 target. And from what I'm seeing right now, it looked like it has a bear flag. So most likely we might have even move a little bit lower. Okay, so maybe where? Probably here at 477 before it bounced back. Maybe 498 or even 510 again, and then pull back lower. Well, there's also another chain for it from this level, come up here to 528 to test the green, the orange line, which is the support, now become resistant, but it's trying to break this green line resistance right now. It was a midterm support, but it's coming resistant, and then we have another resistance up here. But I give this bounce maybe 45% and a pullback of 55%. Okay. But overall, right now it's oversold. Short term, long term is starting to oversold as well. But it doesn't mean oversold, it will bounce. So we got a bear flag here. That is why instead of a bounce, I give it 50%, I'll give 45% now. Okay. For NVIDIA, so NVIDIA, last I looked at it was about last week. You can see that basically from September into now, about 3 months, is moving, trending up. Okay. But now it's look like it's about to trend down. So I expect when it was around here, I expect a little bit more bounce before a pullback, then a bounce. But look like we have a pullback already with our small bounce. Okay, so this basically is done. Now, do we bounce from here? Well, short term is over, so long term is turning low as well. So I will give it about 55% of a bounce, right? But like Amazon, Google, and Apple, if all of them coming down, I think NVIDIA will keep going down as well, and we'll test 174. Okay, and this support. This will be the next support, but we don't know. We will have to wait to see how this play out. All right, the last mega 7 is Tesla. So last when is about 3 weeks ago earning, I say there's a chance of it to bounce because it was at the support line, trend line, up to 488, or it can actually pull back to 370, right? Well, for that day, it didn't move much. It tried to bounce back, test this previous high, fell, pull back down to close this gap. And 370 is actually this bottom, this candle right here, and also this gap right here. So that's why I gave that target. So for now, when I look at and it looked like the bear flag is playing out a little bit. Okay, so let's see what's going on with Tesla here. So short term oversold, long term is still overbought. So that means it might have more selling. If next couple days it cannot clear 423, it will come down even more, maybe to 368, 369. Okay, so I put 370, a whole number. Okay, and of course it will bounce back, probably here, and then trend down lower to probably right here, 327. Okay. Or okay, so most likely we have this. Okay, so from what I'm seeing, other stock pulling back, I think the Max 7 might have more downside, at least for a couple weeks. All right, next is BitMine immersion. So BMNR. Well, okay, so when I was here, that's when I look at it. It said look like most likely we have a bounce to this line, the red line, and maybe pull back, and then after that it will bounce more. But look like it's actually bounce, pull back, bounce again, and then pull back. So it played like direction that I predicted, but not the level. It's still, you can see it's still moving and testing the red line a lot before it fell down and then trending even lower. From here to here, it was like a wedge, but after that it fell, came down, and then right now it looked like it's testing this line right here. You can see this is the top of this this is the gap basically, and this is the bottom, and then pivot point. So right now is at, I would call it a midterm support. Okay, but the trend already changed. The red line is still there, but the trend is actually trending down now. Okay, we're trending down, but with the oversold and support here, I think most likely we have a bounce back to 43. Okay, and then or even 48, and then pull back like this. So it's almost similar to like a breakout of a trend, a channel, but it's actually bounced because of oversold, and maybe the short seller, after they short, they buy it back to get out of that short, and it will push the price back up with deep buyer, and then after that it will come back down. So I would say 48 will be my target of a bounce, then a pullback after that. Okay, let me see. Yeah, so look like, yeah, since June it was at $4. It jumped all the way to 160, that 40 time, and then pull back, of course. Then been the low was 31, so either 30, it might even come down to 31, but that's when it's become a bigger support. So between 31 and 34, it is a good buy zone for now for quick bounce. So if I'm interested in this stock, I actually would buy some in DCA around this area, looking for at least 10% bounce. All right, the last one is CIFR mining. I did before around earning, no, actually before that, it was the previous earning or somewhere right here, I forgot, that I predicted to come up and then pull back down. No, it was right here when I expected from 14 pulling back to 11 before a bounce. So you can see it did that, but it's basically stay within the megaphone channel. However, for the past week or two, it broke below the channel. I look at it as sometime, I think it was around here, November 6th when I look at it, or even November 4 or November 3rd. I forgot. But I say, oh, maybe we'd pull back into the orange line and then bounce again. But I say it could also break down all the way to 16. That is why I got two red arrows right here before a bounce. Okay, so for the past week, it's actually so even more. It went past my 16 target right here. And remember, now this one is becoming basically like a resistant now. Okay? So, but not as big as the resistance. So normally when it breaks below the trend channel, most likely it will come back, right? So right now, if it does, it will come back 21, right? But I'm not sure it's gonna come up that much. The only thing is that it might even go a little bit lower, despite it being down from about 45% already, right? But it might even coming down more, because you saw CoreWeave and other stock, they went out, right? So let's see, it might come down all the way to here at 12 before we might see a meaningful bounce. But I actually, well, the reason why is that yesterday candle, it doesn't look good. Normally it would look a little bit like this. We may have a better chance of a bounce like this one. You see this candle, after this candle we got this, and then we got another hammer, so we move a little bit higher and higher, right? So this candle is kind of like this candle, but because it's moving up, so it had higher chance. But when you move down and you got this candle, it does not help. Kind of like this, right? So anyway, so I think maybe, just maybe, we might go down a bit more to 12 before any meaningful bounce. So 16 will still a resistance, but I actually think it might pull back in about a week to 16. So at least we have something like this. Okay, so either way it will do this, but there's a chance of it coming down. If I am interested in this stock, I will basically wait for it at least a couple of days to see how it play out. Okay, because I think there might be a chance of even a day or two heading lower. So, but if it's bouncing, it will come up to 18, 19 pretty quickly. Okay. So we will have to wait on this. You don't want to put too much money in the market now, right now, because it's been rough last couple weeks, or I would say last couple months for most stock. But there are opportunity out there. We just have to keep checking and look for the opportunity. Thanks for watching, requesting. Please hit like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.